Welcome back to 20-somethings TV. I'm Amelia, and I am joined, as usual, by Lionel, Brian, and Macy. And you may have noticed that we have a very special guest this week with us. And if you are a longtime 20-somethings viewer, you may recognize Matt Wilson here from our last season. So welcome, Matt. Thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
Oh, yeah. So we're super excited to have you. We have a variety of topics that we'll be discussing today. And, of course, the one we must start with is, of course, COVID. So I'm going to pass it off to Lionel. So, Lionel, what's going on with the vaccine?
Well, thank you very much for the great intro, Amelia. So we're in a pretty interesting position right now where some of the biggest countries in the world have been competing with one another to put out the first COVID vaccine. So what you've mainly got is the US, China, and Russia all kind of racing to get this vaccine out. And all these countries have put, tens of millions of dollars into research, and something that has emerged is that Russia actually has a vaccine that's pretty close to completion, and according to Western-backed research, is about 90% effective. So I want to ask you guys, would you take a vaccine from another country, be it any country, be it from China, Russia? Would you be willing to do that?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't really care where it comes from, honestly. If it's a vaccine that works, gets the job done, I don't have any problems with that.
Yeah, I agree with Matt. I think, we're at the stage where, people these days are being very elitist and it's like America, but people are dying. We need to, take the vaccine that works no matter where it comes from. And if, people are willing to share this information with us, we should just be happy that they're doing so, considering the past year or past 4 years as well.
I totally agree. I believe that since we're in such a difficult time and people are just racing to get a vaccine, I believe that everyone's just kind of like, I wouldn't say desperate, but like on their way there to being desperate. Just like doesn't really matter where it's coming from as long as it's working and it's harmless to the body. I feel like I would just take it no matter where it came from.
Yeah, but now one thing I want to ask you guys is, do you want someone in particular to endorse this vaccine, or would you want to like maybe hang back and kind of let other people be the guinea pigs, or would you want to be like the first person in line, like I'm getting this vaccine right when it comes out?
I feel like the vaccine should be taken because so many people are dying right now from this. Like hospitals are getting overwhelmed, nurses are getting overwhelmed from this. Like this is the time for us to like get serious and like just take it and just keep ourselves protected so that we could like save people's lives from this virus and like realize that like we need to like follow these guidelines because if not then more people are going to die, more people are going to get sick, and the virus just keeps spreading without this vaccine.
So what you're saying is, if like some like guy came up to you, some doctor came up to you with like a needle, from like some like vaccine from like China or Russia, they're like, hey, I'm gonna put this in your body, it hasn't been used on anybody else, would you be cool with that?
Well, let's wait for like what other people would say if they've done like data and research about it.
Okay,
I
so it's
just
more
don't know
about
any situation that would happen. I mean, if you're going to get the vaccine, you're going to go to your actual doctor. It's not going to be some random dude on the street
Don't
going,
take it in a
hey,
back alley. Don't
stab you with a needle. I mean, if that were the case, like obviously, no, I'm not going to accept your vaccine.
oh no, I don't
It's
mean
But if I
like
go to my
not a vaccine at
pediatrician
all.
and he's like, "Here, you want the COVID vaccine?" I'm like, "Sure, give me
I,
that."
I
Let's
ain't
save
talking
the
about
world.
some like Randy coming up to you. Let me rephrase that. When I
Okay,
say like
that
when I say it hasn't been like tested, like obviously it's been tested, but I mean like would you want to like, let's say this thing is released to the US public on a certain day. Would you want to wait like 2 months to see if like this thing like kills people or like mutates them, or would you just take it as soon as it's available to the public?
Well, we're likely not going to have too much of a choice, at least here in Rhode Island. I saw that we are one of, I think, four, and that number might not be correct, states that have been pre-approved to like be like the test runners for when there is a vaccine. So likely we're going to have to do that. I know I had taken my grandma actually to a doctor's appointment a month or two ago, and her doctor was saying how they were a little bit concerned because no matter where the vaccine comes from or when it's here or who's endorsing it, you know, they're gonna be the guinea pigs, and it's gonna be all our frontline workers. So I mean, I hope it's a good vaccine. I hope that it's, you know, worthwhile, because the people that are going to be put at risk first are going to be the people who are fighting every day to protect us.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Like, not only that, like, if anything, like, this vaccine can come out not like late April, but like somewhere like in between, like maybe like mid February or like late March, then that should be good. 'Cause, you know, I just want to travel. I just want to go out there and just see out there and without dealing with this virus. Like, maybe feel trapped at home, feel like stuck. Like, honestly, it's
You want to
just
travel like internationally, or like you want to travel to the grocery store?
no, just like from state to state. Just like probably like Florida. If I'm trying to plan going to Florida next year, so
Florida would be like the place I wouldn't want to go, even once there's a vaccine. They're, like,
I want to
very
go to
anti-mask.
Moscow, Russia, and if they like if I get off the plane in Moscow and they're like you need to take our own Russian vaccine, then I would do it. You know, the Russian scientists. I think the vaccine that they've got going in Russia right now is called Sputnik 5, and I think it's pretty significant that they're still using the old Sputnik name after the, you know, groundbreaking Soviet satellite. So you know, Russian scientists have been on the cutting edge of this stuff like the past 70 years. So, I trust the Russian vaccine in particular. I think that would be a particularly effective vaccine, and I look forward to seeing how it goes. But I have a good feeling about it.
You can't tell if you're being sarcastic. You're tricky, Lionel.
No, see, I'm smiling. I'm not smiling because I'm being sarcastic. I just get a little bit giddy when I talk about Russia sometimes.
Big yikes. Okay.
All right.
Interesting. Very interesting. So that's kind of like what's going on with the vaccine front. Um, but obviously, like we were saying, you know, maybe we won't be able to travel right away. I mean, like, once there's a vaccine, that doesn't mean things are going to go back to normal, right? There's a grace period with that. So, you know, looking still close to home, Macy, can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with COVID in Rhode Island in particular?
Yes, I can. So, we all have heard that Rhode Island started their 2 week pause yesterday, and it goes till December 13th. Um, Basically, she's keeping certain things open, some things limited, and some things just completely closed. What's going to be open, just a few to name, is in-person school for grades preschool through eighth, in childcare, personal services, so like you can get your hair cut and your nails done and all that. Obviously, healthcare and construction businesses. Limited is high school social gatherings. They're limiting that to now. If you don't live in the same house as them, you are not allowed to see them. Um, Indoor dining's limited. It's all back to 33% capacity or just takeout and delivery. Retail's limited, and houses of worship. Closed is in person colleges and universities, offices, bars, um, any recreational venues and indoor sports facilities, gyms, and like fitness facilities. Excludes professional sports. Um, so if you walk into a restaurant with, say, you're going out with like some of your friends or your significant other, you are not allowed to sit at the same table as them. So they will actually ask you for proof that you live in either different addresses or same addresses, the same address. Um, I got an alert on my phone. I think it was yesterday
Oh, it was
at
went off at
9:30.
like 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Macy, I was like, I thought we were being attacked. I was like,
Yeah,
there's
I
war
was
happening. Something's blowing up.
I was so nervous. It was I put like part of it in here. It said hospitals at capacity due to COVID. Um Help the front line by staying home as much as possible for the next 2 weeks, work remotely, all of that. Just reminding you to follow the new rules of the pause. My mom was telling me earlier that she saw on the news this morning that they're opening a field hospital in Cranston, and basically the people who are actually in any hospital that don't need like a ventilator or like extra care are being moved to these field hospitals to make room for people who actually need these services. And I just wanted to ask you guys, um, how do you feel about like, say like places like gyms being closed, but like fast foods and you can get your hair done and your nails done being open, but and like how come like we can all get like these personal services, but the gym and all of these businesses are completely getting kind of screwed over.
Well, America's a weird place. It's like the first thing, like as you described that, I'm just like, what a world, you know? Like personally, I think everything should be closed. It's one of those things where people are like, oh, is COVID after dark? Like, no, like COVID's all the time. COVID's everywhere you think it's not. So, I mean, I don't know. Like you got to be safer than sorry, right? Is everybody following this? Is anybody? I hope.
I know that there's a gym in Lincoln that I just saw on the news right before this class. That there's that they're staying open, and like police have gone there, and it's not their duty, I guess, to close them down. But the owner was like, I can't. Yes, Max Fitness. One of our viewers just said Max Fitness. It is Max Fitness in Lincoln. When I remember seeing an interview with the owner, he was um saying like we can't afford to be shut down again, and it's just hurting us. And there's actually people just going in and out, no issue, working out like with like social gathering, like
I
being
hate
safe
that
and stuff.
praying, that saying, like we can't afford to do this. So like like financially, sure, but like you're saying that like financially it's more important than like health and well-being. Like I don't understand. Like I understand that the economy is hurting right now, but we talked like a month or two ago about there being another stimulus package, and then after the election, we've like never talked about it again. So what's going on with that? I mean, now more than ever, it's kind of when we need it. I mean, I know for those on unemployment, there's going to be an extra $200 this week and next, but this the stimulus would definitely make people, I think, more inclined to follow these, uh, you know, limitations.
Yeah, one thing I can say too is that this whole thing, oh, this whole mindset always reminds me of the mayor from Jaws, of America worshiping the dollar, and especially all these politicians on TV who are, bought and paid for and owned by corporate interests who tell us they drill these words into the American conscious, like, oh, the economy is not doing well. That means you're not doing well. What they really mean is the 1% isn't getting as rich as they'd like to be. So we're all going to be sent out to the slaughterhouse to get infected. And if we die, who cares? It's fine. The 1% has gotten significantly richer during COVID, while the poor have suffered the hardest. So I think all this talk about, you know, all this shit about money is really sad. And what we're really looking at is a spot in a moment in American history where we're at a crossroads that we need a bigger redistribution of wealth now more than ever. I think COVID has only shown us the worst sides of our society that were already there, but COVID has gone and laid them bare. So
I
in
agree.
terms all I'm saying, bringing this thing full circle in terms of, like, I get it, small businesses not having the money to stay open. Well, we need to redistribute that wealth from up top down to the people below, because we're the ones who have to deal with this shit the most. We're the ones in the most danger, people that are getting hit the hardest. So how about we get some of that the 1% is actively hoarding, and their accomplices in Washington are helping them get away with murder. So that's what I got to say.
I mean, I think perhaps I don't disagree with you. I think though there's like I was gonna say, I'm gonna say it a little softer, but like there's grants to be had, there's money to be distributed. It's not on the American people. Like people shouldn't have to choose between like being alive and staying afloat financially. Like that is like something that we're supposed to be protected from. That's just absolutely unreal, the choice. But I think we make good points. Like it's all of us, the people who are suffering, small businesses that are suffering, and something else is like we're gonna be looking at a completely different holiday season coming up. So some things with that are already changing. Brian, tell me about it.
All right. So, as you all know, like Christmas is around the corner. It's finally December. Like we get this, where one thing that's one of the most popular holidays every single year is Christmas. But thanks to COVID, now things
And
have been
Hanukkah
changed a
and
lot.
Kwanzaa.
Hanukkah and Kwanzaa as well. Like honestly, why COVID have to ruin this? But they kind of alternated ways. So let's say you want to get a photo with Santa, right? So now when you ask to get a photo, you have to be socially distant. So like now you can't sit on a lap. Now no one can sit in Santa's lap. Like you have to pretend to like just be at a distance. There are some people they can do it like they just like have someone dress up as Santa and just do it in, like outside the house, or even just have him like sit on a fire truck and just sort it from there. And it's like, it's just sad. Like, why can't we just do this the normal way? And not only that, like, if their first time for picture with Santa, it's like this weird feeling they have. Like, why this is so weird? Like, why? But recently, I found the news the other day in Rhode Island. There was this interesting Santa, but they call him Boombox Santa. So like, pretty much he holds his boombox and he yells people Merry Christmas and like Happy Holidays to everyone, and he's just literally spreading Christmas joy all just by himself with this loud boombox playing Christmas songs. And this person remains anonymous, but what he plans on doing is traveling from state to state, just him and his boombox, just wishing everyone Merry Christmas with
So in
in
state
that.
to state?
Yeah, state to state, state to state, which is pretty interesting with the Santa
Hmm.
boombox. And another company called Jingle Ring. So like since Zoom like or Google Meet has been popular this year, they're doing a virtual call meeting with have families meet Santa. So it's pretty cool. So like they just have ask questions, ask them meet Santa's fellow teammates and everything. So with that, it's like pretty cool. And speaking of the boombox Santa, this person did it because he lost his job and he's trying to find unique ways to make not only himself happy but to make others happy as well. So I want to ask you guys this: how will you spread the Christmas joy with others this year, even during this time with the pandemic and everything? How you guys spread the Christmas joy?
By staying home. The most important thing to do right now is to stay home. And unfortunate as it is, we have lights outside at my house. So families, if they want, they can drive up to our house, stare at them for a little, and go home. And that's enough to do right now because, as much as I want to hang out with my friends, and trust me, I really do. At this time of the year we're in, it's the worst. It's flu season. It's cold. Your fingers get all like frozen and stuff. It's just stay home and just text people happy holidays. It's the best you can do at this point.
FaceTime. I agree. It's like,
That's true. Yeah.
Brian, you bring up like traditions or kids who's maybe it's their first picture with Santa. Like, you could just skip it this year, not do it at all, and then next year do it if you really want to get that, that perfect experience. But I mean, we have to accept that like this is the world we're in. It's not COVID's fault that this is happening in the holiday season. If anyone, it's the American people's fault. Everyone else. I saw this girl posting, and she was either from Australia or New Zealand, and I shouldn't be confused about that. But she's posting. She's like, she tweeted something like, I keep forgetting we're in a pandemic because things here have been back to normal for months, and that could be here, but people just aren't taking it seriously. So it's not, COVID's fault for ruining Christmas. It's people didn't want to think about it during the summer. They didn't want to think about it during the fall. They didn't want to think about it for Thanksgiving. And now we're here.
Maybe, all right, call me a glass half empty type person, but this might be good in a way because personally I've always found it a little strange that you're having your child go sit on a random person's lap.
Hmm.
So maybe going away with that tradition might not be terrible. That's just me though.
Yeah, I never did the whole like sit on Santa's lap thing, and I have no regrets about that. I've always found it really creepy, and
Mhm.
I've heard way too many creepypastas and horror stories online about like creepy mall Santas, if you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, I think that tradition should go die. I think instead, how about you take your kids, uh, you like hang out in your living room and you say, all right, whippersnapper, we're gonna watch some classic Christmas films today. and you're going to learn a thing or two about our culture. Then they'll say, "Yay, movies," and everybody's going to have a great time.
I've never
Especially,
experienced a mall public Santa, and I don't think I ever would want to. The only time I ever really experienced that was like my old elementary school would hold like a Christmas bazaar, and we would we wouldn't like hire random Santas. We would take like one of the faculty members and do it. Like,
bring in a
and the
random
other
day.
Santa that I always just had my experiences with, like when I was younger, sitting on his lap was my uncle. So, no, there's safer ways to doing this tradition. I don't think
Mhm.
a public Santa is very safe, especially for right now.
Yeah, totally
I
agree.
think I was kind of turned off to Santa from the get-go as a kid because I saw Elf by the time I was like 4 or 5, and I'm like, oh, it's just like a smelly guy who's not really Santa. Is that one scene where Buddy exposes him?
I think the one thing worse than a mall Santa is the mall Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my contribution.
I'm like
I'm
petrified of
perfectly
like
okay with
people in
that.
big mascot costumes anyway, so I never. Mm-mm. Nope.
Yeah, one time my mom had like a birthday dinner and Minnie Mouse was there, but Minnie Mouse had hairy legs, so I was very confused, like very like muscular.
Oh,
Oh,
So I don't know. So that was also
yeah,
scary.
that's
Yeah, one time I was at a convention and I saw like these people and these really what do you call like really muscular, really lifelike like fur costumes, I think you'd call them. Of like a lot of like wolves, like I think they were howling. So I think they were just some really nice Halloween costumes. But I know what you guys mean. Like those things can be kind of like whoa, like you know what I'm saying?
If I remember one time, my friend's brother had to dress up as Santa Claus for like some middle school things he had to do at a community. And then I think when he dressed up as the Santa, I think he got jumped by someone. Like they're like Santa, and like the guy literally jumped on him. Like literally, he fell on the floor, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is not. This is just.
I mean, he robbed him. I was like, oh my goodness.
yeah. That's what I thought he was talking about at first too, and I was like, oh.
I'm like, oh shit.
All right. Well, now I'm going to take us in a completely different direction because I think we're too much trauma in one sitting for this episode at least. Um, so something really cool happened today. I don't know if you guys heard about it. The actor formerly known as Ellen Page came out as transgender and non-binary, so they are now known as Elliot Page with preferred pronouns of he and they. So that's really cool and something really exciting, I think, for Hollywood. Um, it's nice to know that kids growing up going through similar things now have people that they can kind of look to and relate to. And one question I saw people were talking about was how Elliot's in the Umbrella Factory, which is still shooting, or the Umbrella Academy rather, and how that's going to actually affect that show, like how they're going to work in tandem with that. So what do you guys think? Did you guys read that today?
So I got that alert from Twitter like a couple hours ago, and to be honest with you, my dad watched the Umbrella Academy. I have no idea what it is.
Mm.
I know it's a Netflix show, but I think it's awesome that they're able to come out there and do that, and it's actually we progressed far enough as a society that they're not going to get attacked for it, which is what we need. And it really comes down to I feel like how comfortable they are with the character, whatever. I don't know what their character is, but if the directors ask them to take it a certain direction, I feel like it depends on how comfortable they are with whatever the direction the directors ask.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. And then I also meant to mention, for those that don't watch Umbrella Academy, Elliot was also uh, the lead in Juno, just in case anyone's trying to pull up a mental picture.
Yeah, I definitely think it's really great that they can feel comfortable and just really show who they really are. And I agree with Matt. Whatever direction that they are asked to take, I think if they are comfortable with it, then they can just do it as like how they perceive themselves to do it. They will feel as the most comfortable with it, and I feel like um, the crew members that are working with him are just gonna respect it, hopefully, but we'll find out. But I think that's really great.
Yeah, in his official statement, he talked about how he was still afraid because hateful people are still out there, transphobic people still out there. But he was talking about how he felt it was important to come out, and also how he was going to, work hard to represent that community and be a voice for these issues and, the movement towards acceptance, which it should already be here, but,
Pretty interesting. But I just hope that shows like obviously Family Guy and South Park don't come at Elliot just like it did with Bruce and Caitlyn Jenner. Like they roasted, Family Guy predicted Bruce, and then South Park roasted, obviously Bruce Caitlyn Jenner when they did that, transition. There's the roast about her driving thing. So I just hope that they don't do that to Elliot as well. Obviously they might. I don't know, but this is just crazy.
yeah, that is upsetting to me that people even do that in any sort of media. So definitely something I think as a culture we need to work on. Lionel, any thoughts?
I think you guys just about said it all in that one. I mean, it's a lot.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we definitely covered a lot of topics today. And I think we all had a lot of good thoughts. So thank you all for contributing. Thank you, Matt, for being here. Hopefully you'll come back and visit us again. We always love to hear what you have to say. I'm sure your fans were excited to see you. Yeah.
All one of them.
So that's it for this week on 20 somethings. Thank you to everybody who's watching. Don't forget to check us out on Instagram and follow us on YouTube so you never miss an episode. Thank you guys and have a good week.